America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to
We're losing our democracy!
More inflation. What a stupid son of a bitch.
Wake up!
Before we get into that, let's get into this.
How's it going, everybody? And welcome to the Liberty Bowl. It is, of course, Live Stream Friday. As we do every Friday here, we come together, we talk about the latest in news, what's going on with the world at large. Are we in a golden age? Are we in the fall of Western civilization? We don't know. So we come here to discuss it and hopefully try to make some sense of it. Hopefully joining me soon will be my co-host, Liberty Swine. It seems to be having some technical difficulties this evening, but either way, we'll go ahead and get the show started. Hopefully he'll be dropping in before we know it. Let's see, we do have a couple things going on today. Of course, the trade war has officially begun. I believe it was on was it Wednesday? Wednesday, because Wednesday, because Tuesday was April Fool's, I believe, something like that. I don't know, I might have my days mixed up, but either way, Donald Trump wanted to go ahead and get the official tariffs implemented and kicked off the day after April Fool's Day. So just so you know, it's not a joke. All right. So we have that going on. We also have a judge ordering the Trump administration to go ahead and bring back one of the MS-13 gang members that they went ahead and sent to El Salvador and is now currently residing in El Salvadorian prison. We'll be talking about that just a little bit. Donald Trump extends the TikTok ban, extends the grace period on the TikTok ban by another 75 days. So that's 75 more days of communist mind control pumping into the youth of America. So we'll be talking about that. We also have Maryland considering taxpayer-funded reparations for slavery. Crazy stuff. And people are reporting that Elon Musk is going to be leaving Doge. They're trying to say that it's they're having a breakup, this and that. The honeymoon is over, yada yada. In reality, it's probably more that it's getting closer to the 130-day limit of executive advisors, and yeah, that's about the gist of it. Which, of course, Elon Musk has saved trillions of dollars. I don't know, probably billions, but I don't know about trillions yet. But in the long run, it's going to end up saving trillions of dollars. So interesting stuff going on. Let's go ahead and get into it. Alrighty. Let me go ahead and find an article here. Oh yeah, we also have the collapse of Klaus Schwab's World Economic Forum. Well, Klaus Schwab has officially announced that he's going to be stepping down. He's beginning the process of stepping down. Nobody knows how long that process is going to be, but nonetheless, my suspicion is he sees that the World Economic Forum is done, and he's trying to step out, save face. That's at least my opinion, right? So let me go ahead and pull this one up. Not even sure what we'll start with. Okay, we'll start with the trade wars. Okay, so as you guys know, the trade war has officially begun. And let me get up screen share here. And let's see. Who are we going to go with for Liberation Day? Of course, it's going to be mostly lefties, CNN, MSNBC, The Guardian. Fox News is really iffy these days, man. Really, really iffy. Business Insider, The Hill, MSNBC, NBC, ABC. Oh man, we're gonna find nothing on here. Let's go a little bit deeper. Details of Trump's Liberation Day tariffs. All right, let's go ahead and check out Newsmax. Okay, so details of Trump's Liberation Day tariffs. It was Liberation Day at the White House on Wednesday as President Donald Trump announced a sweeping round of tariffs in a speech in the Rose Garden. Trump's speech aired live on Newsmax and the Newsmax 2 free online streaming platform. Here are some details revealed in the White House fact sheet. So, bullet point number 1, using his authority under the National Emergency Economic Powers Act of 1977, Trump will impose a baseline 10% tariff on all countries beginning at 12:01 a.m. Eastern Time on Saturday. So, that's going to be tomorrow. We'll see how it's going. The market's already reacting to a lot of this stuff. Market's tanking right now. All right, market's tanking right now. So, buy the dip. If you got the funds, if you got the availability, yeah, I'd definitely buy the dip. So, just real quick, what Trump's trying to do with these tariffs here is he's trying to bring back American manufacturing. He's trying to bring jobs back to America, right? Well, we do have a jobs report here in a little bit that we'll be talking about, where I think it was like 225,000 jobs were added. Breaking estimates of was it like 130 some thousand, something like that. But either way, we're trying to bring manufacturing back here to America. We're trying to reduce our dependency on foreign trade, right? We're trying to get rid of the whole, like, hey, how about we source products here in America, then we'll send them off to China and then we'll ship them back here because it's actually cheaper to do it that way than it is to just manufacture here. Because of course we have these things like minimum wage laws and whatnot, and most people don't want to do these sorts of jobs for, next to nothing. But hey, if you live under an authoritarian regime like China, you don't really have a choice. So that's why a lot of American companies, it's not just China. I mean, Mexico, they go abroad, right? And it's basically just all of these places where there is no sort of regulation. It's a word I don't really like, but there's no really actual regulation when it comes to labor. Right. So you could have children working, you could have anybody working, right? You could pay people nothing. You could have indentured servants, all this and that type of stuff. And it's obviously going to result in much cheaper products, right? Of course, that's not only damaging to the American economy, that's also damaging to the American worker, seeing as they are losing jobs, as jobs are being outsourced to other countries. And at the same time, it could be hurting these other countries as well, too. I mean, yes, granted, yes, a lot of these people are working. A lot of these people do have jobs in manufacturing simply because of the fact that America sends their products over there to be manufactured, right? And it could be a good thing, but at the same time, seeing as the governments of these countries, such as China, controls a lot, if not all, of labor and the economy in their respective countries, it would seem that this is just further incentivization for these foreign governments to go ahead and continue to manipulate and abuse their less powerful workforce, right? So that's the overall goal, right? Is we're trying to make America great again. We're trying to bring manufacturing back to America. We're trying to make America a power hub of products, right? We're trying to send stuff out to the rest of the world rather than just sending out our money to the rest of the world and getting stuff, right? Ultimately, it's led to some really bad situations here in the United States. It's led to, okay, all right. Let me go ahead and get into this just for a second, all right? Americans suck. Americans are lazy. Americans don't want to do shit, right? Americans have zero adversity in their lives, right? So we don't have much that we do. A lot of the people here live on either Social Security or food stamps, stuff like that. They sit around, play video games, and smoke fucking weed all day. The culture here in America has become shitty, right? It's become hedonistic. It's become affluent. It's become the pretty much the all the basic ingredients for a nation in collapse, right? And that's what we have going on here. So we need to get rid of a lot of this stuff, right? We need to get rid of a lot of the stuff that we get, a lot of the cheap manufactured fucking tin toys and shit like that from China, all this garbage, right? And bring back American manufacturing, right? Yes, you may have to pay a little bit more, but at the same time, it's going to last you forever. Like literally forever, right? I mean, fucking denim jeans and shit like that. How long do those motherfuckers last, right? I don't think I've bought a new pair of jeans in like fucking 10 years, right? But either way, we need to bring back manufacturing to America, and we don't need all the cheap junk around the world at the expense of our of the value of our currency, at the value of our dollars, and most importantly, at the value of our nation, at the value of our morals, right? So ultimately, that's what the goal is, right? We need to bring back manufacturing to America. And yes, there is going to be some pain. There's going to be some pain in the markets. There's going to be pain all around. You know, if things start getting cut, like Social Security, food stamps, all that type of stuff, people are going to suffer from it, right? Yes, that sucks. But nonetheless, it is not always a bad thing that people suffer, right? So say you're given the choice between, you could either go to a fucking concert this week, or your fucking grandfather is dying in his home, and he has nobody to go over and take care of him. There's nobody to bring him groceries or buy him food or anything like that. Like, are you going to spend the last of your hard-earned dollars to go to a concert, or are you going to help your grandparents? Now, keep in mind, all right, most people don't have to deal with that. Most people don't have to deal with that sort of situation here in America nowadays, because we have Social Security, things like that. We have the welfare state. We have all these government economic programs that basically make it to where nobody has to go without in America. Nobody really suffers in America. If you're starving in America, you're doing it on purpose. Like you're I don't know, you're on a fast or something like that. America has an epidemic with obesity, right? That is the leading cause of death, like out of everything. Like, more than gun violence and all the, crazy stuff that the left tries to spin as, oh, it's killing, all of our kids. Gun violence is the leading epidemic, killing our kids. No, it's fucking Twinkies and fucking donuts and all this other garbage, right? It's the fucking mind rot of just people sitting here all day. That's what it is. Get rid of these fucking things, right? I don't give a fucking, nobody needs a fucking iPhone from China. Fuck that shit, right? iPhones actually suck anyway. You really don't want an iPhone. iPhones, they're the worst. They charge you for everything, right? Fucking ridiculous. So ultimately, we need to bring some manufacturing back here to the United States, and that's what Donald Trump is trying to do here. So let's go ahead and get back into the Liberation Day bullet points. All right, thanks for bearing with me. So, bullet point number 2, higher individualized reciprocal tariffs on countries with which the United States has the largest trade deficits. Those will take effect at 12:01 a.m. Eastern Time on April 9th. The tariffs will remain in effect until Trump determines the threat posed by the trade deficit and underlying non-reciprocal treatment is satisfied, resolved, or mitigated. All right. So, let's see, the individualized. Okay, yeah, the individualized reciprocal tariffs. So, in terms of reciprocal, like, countries like Canada, fucking China has tariffs on us. Everybody has fucking tariffs on the United States. There's a reason that we don't send anything else out abroad as well, too. It's because they have tariffs on us, right? So a lot of this stuff is reciprocal. So say, for example, dairy, right? That's the thing that, Canada is absolutely against. No. We cannot have the American dairy here in the United States, right? Here in Canada. So what they do is they slap major tariffs on the United States. And it's really just because they also have a dairy market. Just, they kind of suck. They're not anywhere near the United States. So a lot of these tariffs are really reciprocal, right? Ultimately, if they did not have those tariffs, we would crush them. Absolutely. No doubt about it. We would absolutely crush them almost immediately. And that would be the end of Canada's dairy industry, which, again, just furthers the point. Become the 51st state. Fuck it, Canada. Become the 51st state. And then you won't end up being taken over by China. That's about it. Um, but ultimately, a lot of what these tariffs are for as well is to incentivize these other countries, or to not necessarily incentivize, but more to kind of force their hand to do things like closing down their borders, stopping the massive flow of illegal immigration, stopping the massive flow of drugs coming into our country. Um, they really are reciprocal with China. Stop sending fucking fentanyl to Mexico so they could send it over to us. Like, I mean, there's fucking one place that all the precursor ingredients come from for fentanyl, and it's China, right? They send them over to Mexico, and then the Mexicans manufacture them because they make a lot of fucking money off of it, and they send it over here to the United States of America. All right. I don't know. I haven't talked to any fucking junkies as of late, so I don't know what prices have gone to over the last several months since Donald Trump took office. But nonetheless, I remember just a few years ago during the Biden administration, fentanyl out here in Arizona was like $2 a pill, and one pill could kill you. And it's literally $2 to die. That's how much people's lives were worth out here. So yeah, a lot of that stuff needs to stop. I mean, granted, I want to do the whole, libertarian and all this and that, to each their own, shouldn't worry about what consenting adults are doing in the privacy of their own home and yada, yada, yada. Well, at the same time, if you don't have a home, if you're fucking sleeping outside, if you're fucking covered in piss, sleeping behind a dumpster, yeah, no, I don't really have that much. I don't have that whole, just let him be himself. Just let him do it. He's just doing him. He's living his best life, No, I don't believe that. Coming from somebody who's actually lived it, somebody who's actually out there, somebody who's actually a junkie for quite a long time, somebody who's been, in and out of jails and prisons most of my, young adult life. Yeah, trust me, I can tell you that a lot of people really just don't have hope, right? There are some people that you just look at and you're like, you should have never tried drugs ever. Some people just cannot. I mean, don't get me wrong, nobody could handle it. Ultimately, right? Nobody can be a functional drug addict. That's not the reality. That's not real, right? There are people that can get up and go to work and this and that. Trust me, I was one of them. I had a full-time job my entire fucking junkie life, but nonetheless, I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't doing anything good. I ended up eventually getting busted and going to prison, but nonetheless, I'm sidetracking here. So a lot of these people, they really just have no hope. If you're sleeping outside, that's bad, right? That's fuck, dude. If it's the drugs that's doing it, dude, get off the fucking drugs. If it's not, well, we need to figure out something to do with you, man. But yeah, ultimately, the incentivization of these other countries to stop this stuff, to basically just enforce their laws, right? To actually do something with their laws, to actually protect and serve their people, right? That's all that it's going to take, and ultimately, that's going to result in the tariffs being gone. You get to fucking trade with the United States again. You get to trade with the biggest market in the world again. That's all it takes. Just enforce your laws, right? Stop sending this shit over to the United States. Stop shitting in our fucking backyard. And boom, all done. All is forgiven. All is well again, right? But ultimately, it's not looking like that's the case. Some countries are caving rather quickly, but a lot of countries are trying to pretend they're going to put tariffs right back on us. But anyway, let's get back to these bullet points. Trump can modify the tariffs, increasing them if trading partners retaliate, or decreasing them if significant steps are taken to remedy non-reciprocal trade agreements and align with the U.S. on economic and national security matters. Some goods, that's what I was pretty much just talking about. Some goods will not be exempt from the tariffs that Trump has hit with separate levies, including steel and aluminum and vehicles and their parts, copper, pharmaceuticals, semiconductors, and lumber, energy, and other certain minerals that are not available in the United States. Some goods will not be exempt from the tariffs that Trump has hit with separate levies. Okay, so a lot of this minerals and stuff like that too. That's something that Donald Trump's really, really working on, right? Is minerals. So of course we know the whole deal with Ukraine going on, right? Where we need to, basically you're going to pay us back, motherfucker, and you're going to pay us back in fucking minerals, right? That's what we got going on over there. Donald Trump's really focused on getting these minerals so that way we can bring manufacturing back to the United States, right? This ultimately, there are some things that we cannot source here in the United States that we do need to get abroad, right? So ultimately, we do need to have some trade partners abroad. We do need to have alliances abroad. We do need to be friendly to an extent with other countries, right? But when these other countries are not being friendly back with us, for example, when they're sending fentanyl into our country at alarming rates that people are dying left and right, dropping like flies, that's not being a good neighbor. Therefore, I don't feel that we have any sort of obligation that we should be friendly with such countries. All right. At least that's just my opinion. I'm pretty sure that's the opinion of a lot of people. And that seems to be the opinion of Donald Trump. All right. So basically we need to get some of these, materials from other nations. But ultimately things like steel, aluminum, vehicles and parts and all that type of stuff that can be manufactured here within the United States. And matter of fact, it used to be manufactured here in the United States for the longest time. Right. There's a whole reason fucking, what is it? Motor City, Detroit. That's the whole fucking, the whole auto industry was pretty much there back in the day. Ever since, the shops have shut down, warehouses have shut down, fucking, pretty much all industry has come to a screeching halt. And, it's basically becoming what it's becoming, a leftist hellscape. But nonetheless, hopefully we'll be bringing some of that back to the United States. Hopefully we'll be bringing back some sense of pride within our country. And hopefully this will do it. Like I said, the market's not doing great right now. Right. That's the whole thing everybody's talking about right now. Read the market. It's in the red. Graph go down. Right. But ultimately, graph can go down as long as morality shifts up. Right. Let's see. Canada and Mexico are exempted because both countries are subject to 25% tariffs imposed last month to pressure them to do more to prevent fentanyl trafficking and illegal immigration. Goods compliant with the United States-Mexico-Canada trade agreement will see no tariffs, and non-compliant goods will see a 25% tariff, plus non-compliant energy and potash goods will see a 10% tariff should the fentanyl and immigration tariffs be revoked. The White House should the fentanyl immigration tariffs be revoked. The White House said compliant goods would still receive peripheral treatment, and non-compliant goods would face a 12% tariff. All right, so apparently there's a list of stuff that's exempt, more or less. I don't know. We'll have to look into that. I don't know. Maybe we'll do it at a different time. I don't think I have time today, but either way. 25% tariff on all foreign-made automobiles, which began at midnight on Thursday. Yes, bringing American-made vehicles back to the United States. God bless them. Also, CNBC reported that 25% tariffs on all imported canned beer and empty aluminum cans will start on Friday. This one's a bottle, but nonetheless, you still get the gist. Trump displayed a chart of the level of tariffs the United States is charged by other nations and what the U.S. will now be charging them. It included China charging the U.S. 67% tariffs. It will be slapped with 34% tariffs on imported goods. The European Union's charging 39%, will be charged 20% back. Vietnam's charging 90%, will be charged 46% back. Taiwan, 64%, will be charged 32%. Japan, 46%, will be charged 24%. India, 52%, will be charged 26%. South Korea, 50%, will be charged 25%. Thailand, see, all of this stuff, all of these nations, right? Everyone's seen a made in China sticker. If you haven't seen a made in fucking China sticker, you're not living in America, apparently. Europe, we don't see so much from them, perhaps beer, whatnot. Vietnam, a lot of fabrics, garments made in Vietnam. Taiwan, there's a lot of electronics and stuff like that made in Taiwan. Japan, I'm not sure what they manufacture, but either way, India, there's definitely lots of fabrics and stuff coming out of India, South Korea, Thailand, Switzerland, Indonesia, Malaysia, Cambodia, United Kingdom, South Africa, Brazil, so on and so forth, right? You recognize a lot of these countries, right? They sell to us all day long. We don't sell shit to them. Do you know why? Because places like Vietnam will charge us 90% to send our stuff to them, right? Nobody's buying that over there. Nobody's buying that at all. So again, free trade, right? Free trade, around the world. I believe in free trade within the nation. I definitely believe that. I believe we should have free trade with each other. I believe we should definitely be able to do barter systems here within the United States. But nonetheless, free trade. Right? It seems like we were the only ones playing by those rules for the longest time, and now it's starting to come back on us. All right, free trade. It seemed like something that only the Americans were doing with the rest of the world. It was really a one-way street, and ultimately it resulted in just the United States pumping fucking money, sending all of our jobs overseas, sending our jobs to foreign manufacturing, and basically the whole excuse was, oh, but we get cheap iPhones now. We get cheap iPhones. Like, look at this. Like, oh, whoa, ho, ho. Right? Yeah, absolutely fucking ridiculous. Right? Again, we don't need stuff. We need a system of values, right? We need to understand that ultimately the government's not your fucking daddy. The government's not supposed to take care of you. Ultimately, the government's not even supposed to educate you. All this stuff was never included in the Constitution. This social welfare, all that type of stuff, none of it's constitutional, right? In fact, they had to make an amendment just to allow the government to tax the people, right? That's how against taxation the founding fathers were. And nonetheless, we had to create legislation. We had to create a new amendment to the Constitution that says, actually, we can have taxation without representation now. Right. So again, income tax came out in 1913, and it was a temporary income tax in order to fund World War I. All right. Temporary. It has never gone anywhere since, right? Temporary. So ultimately, Donald Trump has floated the idea that he wants to get rid of income tax altogether and replace it with tariffs, right? I'm an advocate for that, right? Why tax your citizens when you could tax your foreign enemies, right? I mean, I understand. I understand it's much easier to just go ahead and take money out of the paycheck of fucking, little man fucking just working 9 to 5, trying to make a living, trying to support his family. It's much easier to just take a couple of dollars from that guy than it is to take a large sum of money from a foreign nation, right? Definitely. I mean, unless you're a foreign nation that's trying to get money from the United States, totally fucking easy, right? But nonetheless, on the other end, the United States trying to charge other nations for basically the exploitation of the United States people, I honestly feel like that is a much better endeavor for our government to be going after, rather than just, let's find more ways we could spend money, so that way we could tax the rich, right? It's not the way that actually works, right? Of course, as everybody knows, shit rolls downhill. So the more you tax the top, they just continue to take it from the bottom, right? The people at the top are already in a sense, as the way that they make their money is off of us, right? Except they actually, at least usually, they offer some sort of good. The government, on the other hand, though, they just, nope, we're just going to take it and we're going to give it to fucking poor people, or we're going to give it to poor nations, or we're going to use it to fund gender studies in Ethiopia, and we're going to use it to put on transgender plays in Colombia. Like, all of this reckless waste, you guys are paying for that. You're paying for that. I'm paying for that, right? Shit always rolls downhill. So it's good to see for the first time. And I mean, shit, since what was it? Fucking, I don't even remember. But the only actual, like real tariff trade wars and stuff like that, economic protectionism and stuff I really remember reading about was with Andrew Jackson. And it was something about the I can't even remember the name of what the incident was. But basically, they were trying to get the southern states to impose tariffs on foreign goods, right? I guess, of course, it had something to do with the industries. Basically, the southern states back in those times were making a lot more money than the northern states, because of course industrialization hadn't really come around at that point yet. So basically, everything was off of farming. So all of these southern farmers were making money, making mad money. And of course, the government can't have that. So they wanted them to impose tariffs. And yeah, that didn't really go too well. You got into, there's a whole big old thing about it. But either way, it's great to see, some sort of president actually trying to work for the American people rather than just trying to take advantage of the American people. That's really been the norm for so long that at this point, if you try to stop doing it, the deep state, the big up people, the Democrats, the Republicans, doesn't matter who they're both two sides of the same fucking buzzard, right? They both act like you're destroying the country. This is gonna kill us all. Like they're trying to steal your money that we stole. Like they're trying to steal the money that we stole from you guys. Like, can you believe this? So that's it's basically gotten so far that it's normal to them, right? This is the way that government functions, right? This is the way that governments always function, right? Government has always taken money from the people and stuffed it in our pockets and gave it to our friends, and then we subsidize these industries and we subsidize those industries. We give tax breaks to this industry. We what have you, and in return, they later go ahead and fund our campaigns. Right? That's the way that government works, right? They fucking take the money from the poor, they give it to the fucking rich. The rich in turn bring it back and fund their campaign. The poor then vote for these fucking dipshits again. And then these dipshits take their fucking money again, give it back to the fucking the wealthy corporations and whatnot, and then full circle, right back to the fucking campaign. It's the way that this works. That's the way that government functions, you guys. Like, what's wrong with you? You guys think that we're trying to help the American people? You think that we're doing this for you guys? No. We need to fund our retirement accounts, right? We need to make sure that we're billionaires well into the grave. That's what's important. That's what actually matters. That's why you get into government. You get into government so you can get rich, right? Of course, it sounds ridiculous, but that's honestly the way that these people think. That is honestly the way that they think. It's not it's not some sort of secret, anything like that. It's honestly the way that these people actually think that government is supposed to function. Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So it's great to see that Donald Trump is actually trying to do something. Again, you could gauge the effectiveness based off of the reactions of the lefties. Right. And the lefties are fucking absolutely losing their shit right now. So I would have to imagine that it's probably going pretty good. But yeah, definitely some crazy shit. So moving on to immigration. Oh, wrong one. I clicked the wrong one. Fucking clicked the wrong one. Here we go. This is the one. All right. I don't know. I think my connection might have cut out for a second. But either way, judge orders return of Maryland man mistakenly deported to El Salvador in prison. So I'm sure you guys have all been hearing about this all week. So apparently, no, block all these. Oh man, so many ads. Dude, I swear to God, man. I'm pretty sure watching porn on your computer is probably more fucking healthier for it than reading news articles, just because these news articles are just stacked with ads everywhere all the time. Oh, ridiculous. But anyway, so let's see. A federal judge on Friday ordered the Trump administration to arrange for the return of a Maryland man to the United States after he was mistakenly deported to a notorious El Salvador prison. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement explained Kilmar Abrego Garcia last month, despite an immigration judge's 2019 ruling that shielded him from deportation to his native El Salvador, where he faced likely persecution by local gangs. That's interesting. I mean, right here it says a Maryland man. But then right here it says his native El Salvador. I thought he was from Maryland. This is crazy. I could have sworn that the mainstream media was telling me that Donald Trump was deporting American citizens, right? They seem to stress that, oh, he's a father and a husband, right? He's also a fucking gang member. He's also a member of fucking MS-13. That's fuck. I know kid here, if that doesn't mean that fucking they're great people, right? Just means that they happen to fucking pop out a kid from somebody, right? That's literally all that it means, right? But either way, so where he faced likely persecution by local gangs. Why would he face persecution by local gangs? It doesn't make any sense. Like, why would gangs have anything to do with him? This is just a father and a husband from Maryland. Why would El Salvadorian gangs have any sort of issue with him? Why would they be looking to kill him? This doesn't make any sense to me. Apparently, Donald Trump's just a Nazi fascist. That's all I could make sense of. Anyway, the judge's ruling came shortly after Abrego Garcia's wife joined dozens of supporters at a rally to urge her husband's immediate return. Jennifer Vasquez Sora. Interesting. So that's her husband, right? But they just didn't change last names, right? So his last name is Abrego Garcia. Her last name is Vasquez Sora. What's with the fucking double last names, right? Doesn't make any sense, because apparently neither of her two last names are from her husband, who she cares so much about and is just so distraught that he's been sent to El Salvador. I'll be honest, I don't care. Even if he was a criminal, you'd probably be distraught if somebody you knew was sent to an El Salvadorian supermax prison. That's a little bit rough, but nonetheless, these people often need to be made an example of, right? Especially if you're gang members. Like if you didn't just fucking hang out with MS-13 and now you're part of the gang. I guarantee it. I don't know anything about MS-13, any of their recruiting or any of the any stuff like that, their structure, organization, anything like that. But I'm pretty sure they probably don't fucking get face tattoos and all that shit just for hanging out, right? I'm pretty sure that you kind of got to put in some work eventually, right? Who knows? Maybe that's why they're trying to kill him. Maybe he's sent on a mission and he didn't do it, right? Who knows? But either way, fucking ridiculous. But so anyway, they don't have the same last name for whatever reason. Jennifer Vasquez Sora, a U.S. citizen, hasn't spoken to Abrego since he was flown to his native El Salvador last month and imprisoned. She urged her supporters to keep fighting for her husband and all the Kilmars out there whose stories are still waiting to be heard. Right? These poor MS-13 gang members. Like, I can't believe that they're sending violent gang members, deporting them from the United States, right? I mean, how could you send them back to their shithole country that they just left because it's a shithole country? That doesn't make no sense, right? Obviously, that place is wrought with gang violence, right? We all know that the gangs run the governments over there, right? Especially in places like Mexico, all that type of stuff. Then most of that's true, but nonetheless, those are your people. Like those are your people. Right. And again, I could understand, maybe your gang's trying to kill you. Maybe, it happens all the time, gangs turn on people. I remember when I was in prison, I saw some, one of the dudes that was the head of the white guys. He was big balling. He was making fucking big money. He's doing big things. He was always just fucking handing out stuff left and right to everybody. He's like partying it up all the time, fucking big shot. Last I heard, that dude's in protective custody now. They've tried to kill him like 5 times. Like, way it goes. But so I could understand, maybe his gang is actually trying to kill him. Guess you should have had heart, buddy. Guess you should have committed, right? I mean, don't join the fucking gang if you're not in it for life, right? That's kind of the entire thing. It's not, I'm pretty sure they kind of stress that like, oh, this ain't no fucking Sunday picnic, man. You're with the gang. You're in the gang for life, little brother. Like, I'm pretty sure that's the type of stuff that goes on, so either way, should have committed more, I guess. But either way, to all the wives, mothers, children who also face this cruel separation, I stand with you in this bond of pain. All right, so cruel separation. If I go out and fucking rob somebody right now, or if I go out and fucking finish drinking this beer and like 5 others and go drive a car or something like that, and I get arrested, I'm going to be taken away from my kids. I'm going to be taken away from my wife, kids, my family. I'm going to be taken away from everybody. I'm going to be locked in a cage. So yeah, that's really kind of the way that it goes, you know. This cruel separation. I stand with you in this bond of pain, she said during the rally at a community center in Hyattsville, Maryland. It's a journey that no one ever should have to suffer, a nightmare that feels endless. Again, like I said, I could understand. Even if your fucking husband is a fucking actual gang member and murders people on the daily, you'd probably still be a little bit worried that he's getting sent to El Salvadorian Supermax. I could, in a sense, sympathize with that, but nonetheless, fuck, dude, don't fucking join MS-13 if you're not like ready to like die over it. That's kind of the game that you're playing, you know. The campaign to reunite the couple will shift to a courtroom in Greenbelt, Maryland, a suburb of Washington, D.C. The White House has cast Kilmar Abrego Garcia, 29, as an MS-13 gang member and asserted that U.S. courts lack jurisdiction over the matter because the Salvadorian national is no longer in the U.S. Oops. What the fuck? I don't know if you guys are hearing that weird sound, but I'm hearing some weird stuff in my headphones right now. No idea what the fuck that is. Oh, that's what it is. It's Liberty Swine. How's it going, sir? I don't know if you can hear me or not yet, but nonetheless, he's on the stream. I'm just waiting for him to get his stuff set up, and he'll be popping up here before you know it. See, so to all the wives, mothers, and children who face this cruel separation, to stand with you in this bond of pain, she said. Blah blah blah. The campaign to reunite the couple will shift to a courtroom in Greenbelt, Maryland. Suburb, blah blah blah. Okay, we already went through that one. No longer in the U.S. All right. Abrego Garcia's attorneys have countered that there is no evidence he was in MS-13. The allegation is based on a confidential informant's claim in 2019 that Abrego Garcia was a member of a chapter in New York where he has never lived. Then why are you worried? You were never a member of MS-13. You have zero affiliation whatsoever. Then how are you ordered to not be deported back to El Salvador because you would be killed by your gang? The gang that you were never ever part of, right? So the whole reason that he's got this whole, stay here in America thing is because his gang allegedly wants to kill him back in El Salvador. But at the same time, they're also trying to argue that he was never a gang member. There's no evidence that he was in MS-13. So then how did you guys grant the order to keep him in the United States and not deport him back to El Salvador based off of the notion that he would be killed by his gang in El Salvador, the gang that he was never ever a part of? Right? See how that works? See how that ridiculousness works? That's a Democrat brain for you. That's Maryland brain for you. Maryland's fucking, holy shit, those people are fucking gone. It's fucking leftist central. Which we'll be talking about here in just a minute too, seeing as they're trying to order reparations for they don't. It's funny, you'll see in the article, they don't say the black community. They say marginalized and what is it? Like racially affected or something like that communities. Because of course, based off the Civil Rights Act, you can't say that we're giving black people money because they're black. Like you can't do that. And I mean, technically you can in the sense that the government does this type of shit all the time and never has any sort of accountability for it. But based off of the Civil Rights Act, which the Democrats fucking tote as being the crown jewel of American civil liberties and stuff like that. They seem to ignore it when it works in their favor, though. So he's never a member of MS-13, but we got to keep him here in the United States. Otherwise, his former MS-13 gang members will kill him in El Salvador. So there's that. Ridiculous. Abrego Garcia's mistaken deportation, described by the White House as an administrative error, has outraged many, raised concerns about expelling non-citizens who were granted permission to be in the United States. You mean like everybody that Joe Biden basically just said, come on down. Don't worry, we'll give you blanket amnesty, blanket pardons. Everything's fine. Just come on down to make it to the United States border, and you're a citizen. Vote Democrat, right? Is that what they're trying to say? Is that what they're trying to basically? Oh, you were granted permission to be in the United States. So again, that's basically all of the people that came under the Biden regime. So I don't know. We'll have to look into that. Again, these are our lefty judges in Maryland basically ordering this, right? So yeah, don't expect too much to actually go with it. There's really just a kind of a saber rattling and acting like they have a leg to stand on. See, Abrego Garcia had a permit from the Department of Homeland Security to legally work in the United States. His attorney, Simon Sandoval Moschenberg, said he served as a sheet metal apprentice and was pursuing his journeyman license. So again, like if you're working and all that type of stuff, that's cool. That's cool. I could understand that. Why couldn't you do that back in El Salvador? Why couldn't you do that back there, right? Again, this also does go back into the the whole tariffs thing, that a lot of these countries are incentivized to be corrupt and to they're basically incentivized to give their workers dirt wages, so that way they could go ahead and manufacture stuff in the United States, and therefore there's lots of money to be made for them, for the people that are managing them, not necessarily the people that are getting paid 5 cents an hour or anything like that, but ultimately for the people that are managing them, there's lots of money to be made. And when the people managing you is the government itself, there's really not much that's going to stop them. See, he fled El Salvador around 2011 because he and his family were facing threats by local gangs. In 2019, a U.S. immigration judge granted him protection from the deportation to El Salvador because he was likely to face gang persecution. He was released, and Immigrations and Customs Enforcement did not appeal the decision or try to deport him to another country. You mean 2011? Okay, in 2019, yeah. So in 2019. That was right at the start when Joe Biden was about to take office. So of course, nobody tried to deport him. Joe Biden didn't try to deport anybody. So yeah, again, sucks, buddy. But is what it is. Should have been American. Sorry. Abrego Garcia later married Vasquez Saura. The couple are parents to their son and her two children from a previous relationship. Oh, she'd been around the block then. Okay, so either way, if I had all the money in the world, I would spend it all to just buy one thing, a phone call to hear Kilmar's voice again, Vasquez Saura said. Kilmar, if you can hear me, I miss you so much, and I'm doing the best to fight for you and our children. So again, I could respect that. You're wrong, but I could respect that. I could respect, the devotion of, a wife. I could, again, let me go ahead and, this is a KOAT Channel 7 Action News Report. So you really don't know how much to actually take as being fact and and what to take as just simply being spin. Right? They're trying to spin a nice picture. They're trying to paint a nice picture that he was just a family man from Maryland, trying to just get his journeyman in the sheet metal industry. He was actually going to be running one of these manufacturing hubs that Donald Trump was talking about bringing back to the United States, but nope, no more. Oh man, and like I said, I could feel for the family and stuff like that. I could understand the wife's definitely upset. Again, don't know about how their relationship actually was, don't know how involved he actually was with their family or anything like that. Again, as I pointed out, they do have different last names. I don't know how close they were. I don't even know if they lived in the same house. That they don't specify none of that shit. But nonetheless, You're not a U.S. citizen. It's a new regime in charge, and we how they were saying that he was never deported back then. Yeah, that was a fucking problem. That was the problem that we needed to fix, right? And fixed it. So, cheers. Yeah. Yep. Again, like I said, feel for the family and all that type of stuff, but not that much. So, TikTok, man. TikTok, you guys. Donald Trump has went ahead and extended the delay on the TikTok ban by another 75 days. I don't know why. Don't fucking know why. Actually, matter of fact, you know what? Let's go ahead and look up. Let's go ahead and just see what Donald Trump's fucking reasoning is, right? So the TikTok ban is at first, if you look back at some of our old videos, I was, when I was in my libertarianism thing, it was oh no, the government shouldn't have this power, yada 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 yada. And then the more I actually think about it, Tim Pool actually does really good explanation as to why we should ban TikTok, why TikTok should either be banned or why they should be forced to divest to an American investor, right? And it really is true. I mean, the reasons that Tim would give is basically that we have no sort of legal recourse to go after, TikTok, ByteDance, in the same way that we do with things like Meta or Instagram. Basically, these American-based giant social media corporations. We have ways to actually go after them. We have ways to actually bring up lawsuits, what have you. Not so much with China. With China, I mean, so TikTok is run by the Chinese government, right? The algorithms are all picked by the Chinese government. As a matter of fact, China doesn't even allow their own citizens to access TikTok. Does that not show you how much of a propaganda tool it is for the Chinese Communist Party to go ahead and be able to push these, woke ideologies onto the United States? It's not necessarily that they're trying to change the way that we think here in the United States. I mean, they're trying to change the way that we think here in the United States to an extent, but it's not a good extent, right? It's not trying to change us to like, oh, we just need to be good to one another and love one another. It's not even trying to fucking push us into communism or anything like that. It's pushing sexual deviance to our youth, right? It's trying to push children chopping off their genitals, things like that. It's pushing all of these different sorts of destructive cultures. It's pushing a lot of destructive habits. Everything is I'll be honest. I don't use TikTok. Never use TikTok at all. All right. So all I get my information from really is based off of what I see going on with the like compilations, things like that, libs of TikTok, all those types of things. That's really only place I get my TikTok information from. So let's go ahead and get some different information. Let's go ahead and ask Jujul. Okay, so where are we going? Let's see, CNN, BBC, NBC, WEO, NPR, great. Oh man, fucking NPR crashed and burned last week, man. Of course, they got defunded, so you love to see it. See, Reuters, Forbes, The Hill. Fuck it, let's do Reuters. I suppose we'll do Reuters. See, senators urge Trump to back congressional plan for TikTok's sale extension. See, Washington, March 24th. 3 Democratic senators on Monday urged the White House to seek authority from Congress to extend a deadline for China's ByteDance to sell TikTok to safeguard the popular video sharing app from a potential ban. President Donald Trump in January unilaterally extended the sale deadline from January 19th to April 5th by by postponing enforcement of a law passed last year that requires ByteDance to sell a majority stake to U.S. owners of or face a ban in the on the app in the United States. See, Trump said last month that he could further extend that deadline to give himself time to shepherd a deal. All right. So again, it seems like Donald Trump is trying to just, further use this as leverage, right? But nonetheless, this isn't the same as, like, oh, don't worry, we'll let you continue to do some American manufacturing. Again, this is American propagandistic mind rot. This is actually destructive to our nation. This isn't just yeah, sure, whatever. You could fucking make our Hot Wheels cars and shit like that. No, this is actual destruction of any sense of morality here in America. So ultimately, in my opinion, I think ByteDance, TikTok should absolutely be gone. Get it out of the United States. Of course, there is the whole other side of the argument, which is, are we going to allow the United States government to control what we can have access to? They already fucking do that, you guys. Are you fucking kidding me? They already do that, right? The Democrats do this shit all the time, right? Now the Democrats are on board with trying to get rid of TikTok, and it's simply because it destroys our fucking our pro-war agenda. It's destructive to our foreign policy, right? So, so yeah, you're seeing the Democrats get on board. You're seeing a lot of conservatives start to turn away from it. We're seeing a lot of people, advocating for, we don't want the government to, be able to be, arbiters of information for the American people. Even though they try to all the time. What was it? Fucking just 2 years ago, the Department of, what was it? The Ministry of Disinformation, some shit like that. Oh boy, fucking Nina Janky bitch. Like, you guys remember that one? Yeah. They try to do this shit all the time. If it's not the Democrats, who? Right? We finally have the ball. We finally have the power. And what are we going to do? I hold it. I keep it close. I don't want to change nothing about this. Like, absolutely ridiculous. And meanwhile, the Democrats are going to get the ball 4 years from now, and they're going to fucking rape that thing. They're going to fucking destroy it. Right? They're going to do all that they can to fucking smash people over the head with it. Like, but meanwhile, like the Republicans and conservatives were going to, no, we don't want to give any more powers to government, even though government already has far-reaching powers, far beyond the Constitution already. Right? The Constitution really is a footnote in the United States at this point. So ultimately, and if we want to get back to some sense of American values, to some sense of American pride, to any sense of moral values, then basically the moral majority, which is basically the conservatives, not even conservatives, basically just the Make America Great people. Basically everybody that has left the Democrat farm, anybody that is basically working toward limiting the power of government because of how widespread abuse has become within the government over the past several decades. I forgot where I was going, but either way, we need to actually, we need to have those people actually be, pushing the same sort of regulations and all that type of stuff that has led to, or that basically the Democrats have been doing for quite some time, that has led to us being in this place that we are now. To being in the place where, again, like I was talking about, everybody's just got stuff and fucking, we live hedonistic, affluent lives every day here in America. Everybody, doesn't matter. You could be fucking homeless. You could be a hedonist, right? That's the way that we live here in America. And that's all based off of Democrat policy, right? Ultimately, I don't think that you should be able to get fucking food stamps if you're fucking, strung out, if you're all fucking, wasted and shit like that. I think you should get fucking help first. I think that's what you should get, right? You fucking come in all dirty as fuck, and you're trying to apply for government assistance and shit like that. They should just fucking take you and put you in a padded room until you get sober, and then off you go fucking find something to do. Go be productive. Go, be all you can be, buddy. But ultimately, that's not the case. And the reason for that is because Republicans get power, and the whole reason that they want to get power is so they cannot use it, right? Democrats are going to and then we're hold, stay here, and then nothing happens, and then the Democrats get back in power. Hold, stay here, stay here. So ultimately, we need to find somebody that's willing to moonwalk it back just a wee bit, and that seems like it's going to be Donald Trump, right? So ultimately, I think that he just needs to. I don't know what he's trying to work out, what sort of deal, what he's trying to finesse here. I don't know what he's aiming for. I don't know what the end goal is in this. Again, like I said, this isn't the same as just like, oh, it's okay. We're just threatening with manufacturing and stuff like that. Ultimately, we're just trying to get them to do what we want. Not in this case. Not so much in this case. In this case, to do what we want would be to get the fuck out of our country. Right, get the fuck out of our the minds of our youth. Get the fuck off of these things. Right, that's what we want you to do, and that's how you're gonna fucking make us happy. So ultimately, I think TikTok needs to be gotten rid of, but apparently Donald Trump sees it differently. This non-enforcement of the TikTok ban was not only unlawful, but also raised serious questions about TikTok's future, wrote Senator Ed Markey, Chris Van Hollen, and Cory Booker, urging the president to back legislation extending the deadline to October. The path to saving TikTok should run through Capitol Hill. The White House and TikTok did not immediately respond to requests for comment. Reuters reported last week that the White House-led TikTok talks are coalescing around a plan for the biggest non-Chinese investors in ByteDance to up their stakes and acquire the app's U.S. operations, according to two sources familiar with the discussions. The plan entails spinning off a U.S. entity for TikTok and diluting Chinese ownership to avert a U.S. ban, the sources said. The fate of the app used by 170 million Americans has remained uncertain for months. We urge you to stand up for TikTok's users, and your immense influence over congressional Republicans to demand a long-term solution to the TikTok ban, the senators wrote. The law passed last year with broad bipartisan support reflects concern in Washington that Beijing could use the app to conduct influence operations against the United States. They could use it. They've been using it. How do you think that we're at this state of craziness? How do you think we're at this state of mental decline and psychopathy within the United States? It's from fucking TikTok, right? There's actually a fucking term for it these days called TikTok brain, right? That's an actual thing that we're having to deal with here in the United States. But you want to say that they could use it to operations in the United States. They might. I don't know. They might. Dude, they have been absolutely destroying our culture. They've been absolutely destroying our nation. They've been destroying the minds of our youths. And like I said, they're not even trying to push communist propaganda. They're trying to push actual destructive stuff. They're trying to actually encourage people to mutilate themselves. They are actually encouraging people to eat themselves to death. They're encouraging people to do all this horrible, horrible stuff. And again, like I said, it's not that they're trying to, they're not trying to make America more like China, the way that we do with USAID and stuff like that, where we just go and, we just need to fucking gay up the place. We need to Americanize the world. That's what we need to do with USAID. That's not this case in China. All right. In China, they are simply trying to destroy America. All right. And the way that you do that is by destroying the minds of the people. And if you have a total propaganda machine in your hands, algorithmically designed and run by the Chinese government to maximize the mental rot of the American people, and meanwhile you're going to shield your own citizens from it. This isn't a product. This is a weapon, right? Plain and simple. TikTok is not a product of China. TikTok is a weapon from China that we, for whatever reason, are willingly allowing to, take effect on all United States citizens. Well, at least everyone with TikTok brain. I ain't one of those motherfuckers, but either way, this is this. Like I said, this isn't just like, oh, don't worry, man. They can manufacture our cars. It's no big deal. We'll just get them to do what we want in the long run, right? And it's not exactly the same situation here. right? So yeah, ultimately, Donald Trump delaying the TikTok ban another 75 days. We'll see how it ends up going, but not too excited about that one. Alrighty, let's get into some ridiculousness, and then we might cut it a little bit short today. We don't got too much going on, but yep. Share this tab. Okay, so Maryland governor considers signing Democrat bill pushing taxpayer-funded slavery reparations, y'all. Woo-hoo. Oh man, this is fucking ridiculous. So Maryland's Democrat governor Wes Moore is considering signing a bill that seeks to issue taxpayer-funded slavery reparations in the state. Get rid of that. Okay, it seeks in the state. The Democrat-led legislation passed the state's House by 101 to 36 vote. Again, as I was saying earlier, Maryland is a fucking Democrat stronghold, right? So this is, I don't know how their state structure is actually set up. I would imagine it's pretty similar to much of the rest of the states, which is pretty similar to the federal government. So I would imagine that, they have the House, they have the Senate, and then it goes to the governor. But either way, 101, I'm assuming solid blue Democrat, vote blue no matter who votes, to 36. All right, that's a pretty big margin there. So that's why things like this are happening. Ultimately, in the end, I believe that it's going to be deemed unconstitutional. At least that's my hope, is that it's going to be deemed unconstitutional. Of course, again, as I said earlier, the Democrats' crown jewel of civilization, the Civil Rights Act, right? This violates all of that. Welcome to the show, Hedgehog. Appreciate you stopping by. Hail to the hog. Actually. Hedgehog. But all right. So anyway, yep. Violates every fucking fundamental of the Democrats' crown jewel of the Civil Rights Act, right? So let's continue on here. The bill has now landed on Moore's desk after being advocated by state lawmakers. The governor has said he is considering signing the legislation. According to the Associated Press, the bill describes potential reparations as official statements of apology, monetary compensation. Of course, monetary compensation. That's the big one. They want to sandwich that, right? Property tax rebates and Social Security assistance, right? They fucking sandwich that. Liberty Swine, I'm not sure. He's having technical difficulties today. Let me see real quick. Yeah, I'm not too sure. He's having some technical difficulties today. So either way, the governor said he's considered signing the legislation. According to the Associated Press, the bill describes. Okay, we got through that part. Statements of apology, monetary compensation. That's the big one right there. The reparations could include assistance with down payments on homes, business incentives, child care, debt forgiveness, and college tuition payment waivers. Yeah, good fucking luck, man. Good fucking. Again, it's possible. I mean, fucking government waste is ridiculous. I mean, fuck. If they're giving back reparations, I think I'd be happier with them giving out reparations for fucking things like down payments on homes and business incentives and childcare and debt forgiveness and college tuition. I would rather them fucking be doing that than sending it over to fucking Ukraine or sending it over to fucking Colombia for trans plays and musicals and shit like that. I would much rather fucking spend the money giving fucking reparations to black people who were probably fucking not even related to anybody that was an actual slave. The lesser of two fucking evils in that case, right? So it's not too far-fetched to think that, oh yeah, the government's just gonna fucking boom, here you go, down payment on a house, boom, college tuition for you, boom, you're white, you don't get nothing, boom, fucking here's some business incentives for you, fucking you get to open that sneaker shop you've been wanting. right? Yeah, it's again, like I said, fuck. At least that's going to the American people. At least that's going to be production, here in America. I don't care. You give fucking black people a whole bunch of money. Fucking, I'm investing in fucking Nike. I'm investing in fucking, all of this fucking shit. I'm investing in big rims and gold chains. That's what I'm fucking investing in, right? Definitely gonna fucking soak up all that money right back from them. And I feel like oftentimes that is the incentive when they try to push these, ideas of reparations, right? And it's because they know a fool and his money will always part ways, and they're gonna be right there, ready to fucking be the one that parts with them, right? Yeah. So ultimately, like I say, you give fucking a bunch of people that didn't earn it, and for whatever reason, again, Irish people have been slaves, Chinese people have been slaves in America. Neither of those two communities are in the same boat as the black community for some fucking reason. It doesn't make any sense to me, right? So yeah, you give the black community just a whole bunch of fucking money. You know what they're gonna do? Spend it. Fucking spend it immediately. Spend it as fast as they can. Like, get the shit off my hands. I can't. It's hurting me. I need here. Take it. Right. So yeah, I ultimately think that is part of the reason when they try to, push these ideas of reparations and whatnot. But I ultimately don't think it's necessarily going to happen. Let's see. Can I get reparations for the last 10 years having to hear Trump's name every time someone wanted $1? Right. See, actual tax on white people coming next in Ukraine. Oh yeah, I believe it. The UK is fucking gone, dude. Like, holy shit. See, it's not that illegals and minorities get less time in jail or lesser punishment. It's that whites get more. Right. That's true. And it's really, it's getting to a point. Sorry, unplugged my headset real quick. Yeah, it's really getting to a point where it's becoming blatantly obvious. Like it's I don't know. Again, like I said, their whole thing is against their crowning achievement of the Civil Rights Act, right? It completely goes against their whole thing. They have become the Jim Crow racists and whatnot, which at the same time they always really have been within the Democrat Party. And I understand that there have been shifts. I understand that there have been schisms and this and that back and forth and complete turnarounds and whatnot. But for some reason, it seems whenever shit's going bad, it's the Democrats, right? The fucking who got rid of black people being able to vote within the United States. Who was the one that made it to where it's only white men are allowed to vote, when it used to be originally in the United States, landowners can vote. All right. There was black people that actually owned land back then, and they were able to get a vote until Andrew Jackson, founder of the Democrat Party, came and said, we ain't doing that. Right. And yeah, they basically changed the law as to from being landowners can vote to white men can vote. So I mean, again, they're constantly on the wrong side of history when it comes to the whole Civil War, the ending of slavery. Abraham Lincoln was the founder of the Republican Party. During that time, the Dixie Democrats were fucking they were the Dixie Democrats. I mean, that's the name really does kind of describe it all. But yes, it really does seem that obviously their racial, I don't know, fucking worldview, for whatever reason, it's never left them, right? It's never fucking left them. And it's like I said, coming to a head. And I think that, obviously we're on the cusp of major change, major shifts, politically here in the United States. And again, I'm pretty sure the Democrats are going to be once again on the wrong end of this one. All right. Let's see. See, with France and London next 6 months. Watch France and London next 6 months. It looks like they might need that terrible rainy weather. All right. Yeah, dude. It's freaking Europe is almost gone. Just Europe in general, man. It's shit, dude. I don't even know, man. I don't even know if war were to break out in Europe right now, how that would end up going. Just because there's fucking the French. That's like fucking 20% of the population now. The United Kingdom, they're like fucking 25% of their own population now. Fucking all the rest of them are all fucking, slums and foreigners of all people, of all nations and shape and size, but mostly fucking Islamists, right? So yeah, shit, dude. If shit were to go off in Europe right now, I don't know how the fuck that would end up playing out. Because tell you one thing, we ain't gonna fucking save your ass. That's for sure. Fucking we ain't fucking saving you. You guys had again, national sovereignty. It's a thing, right? You kind of have to keep it though. If you want to be French, you should probably incentivize French birth rates. You should probably get put limitations on immigration and stuff like that, right? You should probably get a lot of these bleeding heart liberals and fucking communists out of your government if you would like to become anything more than an androgynous slop of land, right? So yeah, ultimately we're doing that here in the United States. And again, so I say, I feel like Donald Trump is actually hitting. He's actually fucking hitting rather than just like, whoa, okay, we need to stop. Like, no, Donald Trump, bah! All right, you had enough. Like, that's what we need. And that's really what we need. All right. Let's see. When I say that the people who were slave owners have recorded names and offspring that can be traced, people's faces get all wonky looking. Right. It's funny. You see, what is it? Fucking like Sunny Hostin, stuff like that. Her family was descended from fucking slave owners, like Elizabeth Warren. It's actually Donald Trump is the only president within the past like fucking 30 or 40 years who is not a direct descendant of slave owners. Like the only fucking president within the last fucking several decades that his family did not come from slave money. So I mean there's that fucking little fun fact for you. But yeah, so why not blame everybody? That seems to be the course, right? It seems because they know that if they actually fucking blame if they actually go in and investigate and search out, and we're gonna find out who the descendants of these slave owners and stuff were, they're gonna quickly oh shit, it's me. Okay, yeah, we can't do that. So yeah, that's the whole thing. So I can socialize the blame, right? We all did it. We all did it. Right, that's their claim basically. No, we didn't. You guys did. Like, you fucking weirdo Democrats did. Like, that was your guys' thing. Like, what the fuck do we have to pay for it? All right. But nonetheless, that does seem to be the case here in Maryland. See, it also seeks to study the lingering effects of racial discrimination in the state. The proposals in the legislation would be funded with tax dollars, right? Socialize it out, man. Fucking blame everybody, right? Just blame everyone. We all took part in it, you guys. Like, don't act like we didn't all do it, right? No, no, we didn't. Dude. Like, fucking, I'm at least 99% sure my family did not own slaves back in the day, seeing as my family's been desert dwellers the majority of at least as far back as I could trace, So yeah, I don't think that's so much going to be the case. I ain't trying to fucking pay for nobody else's fucking reparations, none of that shit. And at the same time, I don't give a shit. Really, nobody should give a shit. The farther you fucking continue to look back and just, oh, my past. Oh no, the past traumas. Like, I can't move forward. Can't move forward unless you get like, dude, stay there then. Fucking stay right where you're at. Go fucking stay in the dumps. Go continue to be fucking poor and go continue to just sit there and feel sorry for yourself, because we're not going to fucking feel sorry for anybody anymore. That's not the way that this is working, right? Again, tragedy. Slavery has been a thing since the beginning of time. Slavery is in the fucking Bible. Like, slavery has always been a thing. But all of a sudden, right, we're going to bring the scapegoat, right? Who's the fucking the person that we should blame? The white Americans, right? Slavery happened. Fucking, we were the ones that abolished fucking slavery, right? And then, oh nope, let's blame them. Blame the guys that abolished it, right? It's fucking absolutely ridiculous. At the same time, too, I mean, after slavery ended, a lot of these black folks didn't have jobs no more. So there's that. But nonetheless, with tax dollars, fucking the citizens paying for it. So basically, if you're a white person, you live in Maryland, might want to pack up, man. It's probably about time to leave. See, so this measure was a top priority for the Legislative Black Caucus of Maryland. Of course it was. Why the fuck else wouldn't it be? While outlining the Black Caucus's legislative session priorities at the beginning of the year, Baltimore County Delegate Athena McCaskill, a Democrat, described the goal of a reparations commission. Oh, great. They're going to put an entire fucking team together to fucking decide how to take your money and give it to the blacks. Right. Because, of course, as it says, seeks to study the underlying effects of racial discrimination in the state. Right. The Legislative Black Caucus. I think it's probably in this next paragraph. The commission will carefully examine and evaluate a range of reparation proposals that will not only consider financial restitution, but will also explore strategies to support and uplift vulnerable communities. Say blacks. Just say the fucking black community, right? Vulnerable communities. I'm fucking vulnerable. Like, fuck, dude. I fucking scrape by. I fucking shit. I have trouble paying my bills sometimes. Like, fuck, dude. Gas is expensive. My groceries are fucking ridiculous. I have fucking 2 kids and 1 on the way, right? Fuck, dude. I'm fucking going through. I'm a vulnerable community member. Like, fuck, where's my reparations at, right? It's because it's not for vulnerable community members. It's for black people. Period. Right? Again, like I said, their crown jewel, the Civil Rights Act, right? We can't discriminate based on race, sex, gender, creed, religion, none of that. Right? Unless you're us, then we are going to single up and divide everybody out by race, religion, creed, sexuality, what have you, right? That's the fucking way that they work. They're the definition of the word hypocrite, right? Definition of the word hypocrite. Uplift vulnerable communities that continue to suffer the lingering and evasive effects of discriminatory practices rooted in systemic racism. All right, so systemic racism. You don't think that taking money from one racial demographic of people and giving it to a different racial demographic of people simply because of their racial demographics, you don't see that as systemic racism? That's not systemic racism to you? No, fucking the fact that black people get arrested and go to jail at a far more disproportionate rate to white people. Oh, that's systemic racism. Does it have anything to do with the fact that the black community commits the overwhelming majority of violent crime, considering that they are like 15% of the American population, something like that? But yet they commit like something like 60% of violent crime here in the United States. Oh, systemic racism, right? See, that's the way that they work, right? When it's in their favor. It's systemic racism. I forgot what the other side was, but either way, that's the way that they fucking work, right? Everything is fucking systemic racism until they are the ones in power. Then they are the systemically racist people, and they can't seem to. Fucking racism! Where are you? Where are you, racism? I can't find you. Right? That's the way that it seems to work all of a sudden, right? Again, I'm not trying to be all like, racism, poor white communities and shit like that. Like, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a shit about anybody's fucking color. I'm like fucking 3 different fucking nationalities. I don't give a shit. I don't side with anybody. I'm an American. That's it. Plain and simple. Like, I'm a fucking American male. That's it. Not a fucking Mexican American, not white Hispanic male, what have you. Like, no, I don't fucking care. I'm an American. That's it. Plain and simple. Let's see. Hedgehog says, pay no attention to what's happening in other places before that. Oh, wait, hold on. Before that, he put be like Ben and Jerry's demanding give up ancestral lands, then oops, quietly backing out of that conversation. Right, exactly. Right, it's the exact same thing. Like, we're going to root out who's been taking these native lands and yada yada, and we're going to kick them all out. And it's like, sir, that's actually us. We're the ones on that land right now. Right. Well, nothing to see here. Right. That's the same thing with no, what? Actually, we should find out the individuals who actually profited off of slavery back in the day and went and passed it down, to their offspring and stuff like that. No, they don't want to do that because those are all the people in power, right? All right, fucking ridiculous. See, history of any noteworthiness is only worth looking into back in USA slavery days. All right. See, pay no attention to what is happening in other places before that. Exactly. Vulnerable communities. How many times my house got to get shot up? Right, exactly. If you shoot back, then that means you're not vulnerable, right? That's the way that it works. Unless you're blixes, right? If you're black, you can shoot back at anybody. You shoot back at fucking cops, and then people are gonna come out and advocate for you. Like, can't believe that they're just taking away fucking young Trayvon. Like, he was just an innocent little boy just walking down the street. Unbelievable. Can't believe this happened. Such an innocent young man cut down in the prime of his life. He was gonna be a doctor and a lawyer at the same time as he was running for president till you guys shot him, right? That's the way that they try to spin things, right? Oh, fucking ridiculous. Yeah, that's why I buy up as much native lands as possible. Fucking buy that shit up. You could actually, oh man, here in Arizona, I think you have to be approved by, like, because they sell land on a tribal reservations and stuff out here in Arizona, but I could be mistaken. I don't know. I know in certain places like southeast Arizona, that's mostly all Native American reservations, and I do think that in order to buy land there, you need to basically have approval from the tribe. So basically, I don't know, something like that. Again, I could be totally wrong. I don't own land here in Arizona. I would like to one day, so I've looked into it just a little bit. But yeah, I do believe that in order to get that cheap Native American land, you have to be approved for it in some fashion. But yeah, shit, ultimately that would be fucking nice, man. I'd like to buy me up some fucking Native. Yeah, my ultimate goal in life, I would like to own a big enough piece of land far away enough from people that I can sit on my back porch and target practice. That's what I'd like to do eventually. I'd like to fucking be able to just hang out, fucking pull out the old pumes and whatnot, and target practice right off my back porch while I'm sitting down, fucking smoking a cigarette and having my morning cereal and coffee. That's my dream right there. All right. Which you could probably eventually get to in Arizona. I do actually know a person that has a small range on their property. So that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, ultimately in terms of buying up native lands, I think, I mean, you, like I said, you can, it's just, you have to get some sort of approval. But, so yeah, fucking Maryland reparations. Good fucking luck with that, man. Like I said, fuck it, dude. At least taxpayer dollars would be going to fucking actual American citizens. I mean, like I said, fuck, dude. Lesser of two evils, I guess. I get some skinwalker lands. Oh shit, that would be something pretty trippy, dude. Like just living way out in the middle of fucking nowhere, or living out like in the woods or something like that. I've never actually seen the woods in my life before, but living out in the woods or something like that, and just like, oh fuck, man. I don't know, man. I think I'd constantly with my fucking shotgun just all days. Fuck was that? Fuck was that? Yeah, that'd be pretty trippy, man. I love watching those like documentaries and stuff like that on the paranormal and all that type of stuff. Yep, I would definitely be the person, if I saw Bigfoot, I'd probably shoot him. I'm that guy. So yeah, well, we'll see how it goes, man. Hopefully one day I could get me some land out in the middle of nowhere, fucking Arizona. I mean, it's pretty weird stuff. I don't know if I forget what it's called, but there's like fucking some sort of ley lines where if you draw like a fucking pentagram over the United States going from point to point, one of those points lands pretty much like directly on where I'm sitting right now. So yeah, Arizona does have some pretty weird stuff going on. They do have some pretty paranormal stuff out here. I'm not too sure how much I actually give to the paranormal in a sense, how much I actually believe in paranormal. I mean, I do believe that there is definitely stuff beyond our comprehension, beyond our knowledge. but a lot of the stuff that, like paranormal investigators and stuff like that come up with, I don't really believe it. Uh, Not necessarily like I don't believe that they saw what they saw. I don't believe that their explanation of what they saw is correct. Right. So, yeah, I'm more of a, angels and demons type thing rather than the ghost of my dead cat or some shit like that. You see a lot of them, like they'll like, oh, they believe that it was the spirit of their of their father who passed away several years ago. Either that or fucking some demons are just constantly hanging around you because that's what they do, because you can't necessarily see them. And they heard, what was on your mind, what was on your heart. They heard that, oh, this person is hurting because their grandfather just passed. Hi, honey. Right? That's what I honestly think it is. I think it's ultimately them. I think it's some sort of demonic entity trying to basically fool people when most people see what they consider to be ghosts. But that would be cool to fucking go and explore it. Actually, growing up, I mean, as a middle school teenager, stuff like that, I grew up like walking for miles and miles from my house to my friend's house and vice versa, back and forth, all weird hours of the night, 2-3 o'clock in the morning and shit like that. I used to walk directly through the fucking desert, like through the pitch fucking black desert. Like that was my path. Like, I used to fucking love it though, dude. Like I felt safe. Like I was always raised off the concept of the darkness is your friend. The darkness is your friend. Not necessarily like in any sort of spiritual sense, but I mean in a sense of, if you're out alone, darkness is going to keep you safe, right? I mean, I guess unless you're getting like stalked or something like that, not necessarily. But ultimately, if you're just a guy walking, through the desert and shit like that, and you fucking see some nefarious shit, you could literally duck behind a bush or duck into a shadow, and you are invisible. So that was always the way that I consider it. So I used to fucking love walking through the desert in the middle of the night. That was the shit back in the day. I'm getting too old for all that now, but reality TV is fake. I hate those shows. Yeah. Dude, I don't watch any fucking reality TV, man. I really don't watch much of any TV anymore. I mainly just watch, like news podcasts, stuff like that. So, but yeah. Ultimately, when it comes to a lot of that, like the paranormal stuff, it's interesting. I definitely think it's cool, but in terms of their explanations as to like, oh, it was my long lost grandfather and shit like that, motherfucker, you getting tricked by a fucking demon that's trying to fucking take your soul. That's all that I think that is. So ultimately, darkness is fun times. But all right. Well, systemic racism, Doge, like in the returning of deported MS-13 gang members, but not MS-13 gang members, but we got to keep them here in El Salvador, in the United States, because if we send them to El Salvador, the MS-13 gang members will murder him. But he was never part of the gang. Never. Nothing to worry about. But we need to keep him here so his former gang members don't kill him, so. But he's not a gang member, so you don't need to deport him. Like, we got all that shit going on. Fucking TikTok's going to continue to rot the brains of the youths here in America. And I don't know, at least from all looks, it doesn't look like the federal government has any intention of doing anything about that anytime soon. So, we'll see how that ends up going. And the trade war, man. The trade war. Actually, in fact, let me see if I could just pull up a table. I'm not sure. We'll see if I could pull up Robinhood or something like that. Nah, it's gonna want me to log in. I don't want to log in on my PC. Either way, the market's really doing something, man. It's quite in the red. Let me see. All right. So, yep, market's not looking that great. The Dow index down 5.5%, S&P 500 index down almost 6%, NASDAQ index down 6%. Yeah, like I said, a lot of stuff in the red here, right? Ford Motor Company is going up though. Again, American manufacturing, right? Yeah, again, if you can buy the dip, you just have to look into the things that Donald Trump is actually trying to bring back to America, bring back, auto manufacturing, steel, aluminum, all those sorts of industries. Those are the things that, again, not a financial advisor. Don't take financial advice from me. Don't take any advice from me. I'm just some fucking moron on YouTube that just hangs out and, doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. But nonetheless, if you did have some money to invest, it might not be the dumbest idea to go ahead and invest it in some of these companies that are oh fuck, dude, look at Apple, 14.81%, 14.81% loss, man. That's brutal. Love to see it, right? So again, this looks real scary, right? But yeah, it's a correction. Right, it's the markets reacting to these to the Donald Trump tariffs, basically, and the whole reason, as we discussed earlier, that Donald Trump's putting these tariffs on is to bring manufacturing back to America. That's why you're seeing companies like Apple dropping, and that's why you're seeing companies like the Ford Motor Company rising. See, Tesla's down. Just, of course, that's that was to be expected. I mean, they're fucking up Tesla. They're fucking up the commie rats are fucking up Teslas right now, and they're eating the wiring and whatnot. But yeah, so this is the type of stuff that you'd expect to see. But of course, the left is going to make a heyday out of it, and the Donald Trump is ruining the economy, the stock market's crashing, yada yada. We're going to see a recession, blah blah blah. But nonetheless, when it comes to Joe Biden, they will change the criteria for what is a recession, so that way they don't get that big recession word with Joe Biden. But nonetheless, when the market makes a correction under Donald Trump, they're going to try and say, oh, it's a recession, stock market's crashing, everybody start jumping out windows, start fucking, burying fucking wads of cash, start trying to collect gold and shit like that. You should always try to collect gold, but nonetheless, start dumping wads of cash underneath your bed and this and that. That's the panic that the Democrats are trying to push right now. But ultimately, again, some short-term pain is going to pay off in the long run when some long-term gains, because of the fact that we're going to be bringing manufacturing back here to America. Again, like I said, products might be a little bit more expensive. Nonetheless, they're going to be American-made and built to last, right? Buy once, cry once. There you go. All right. At least that's what it appears Donald Trump's plan is. All right. Let's see. Reality was fake. It's a major change. It's to be expected long term. We will have flying cars and jetpacks. Exactly. So you worked at Apple. I'd only ever invest against them. Right. Exactly. As like I said, as you could see, Apple ain't doing too hot. And of course, Apple being manufactured mainly in China. I don't know if they're all manufactured in China, but I know it's the vast majority in China. Yeah, it's definitely not looking good for them right now. So you love to see it. You love to see, American manufacturing being forced to come back to the United States, because if not, they're going to continue to see drops like this. And again, the market right now it's speculation. I mean, it's all based off of speculation. It's people moving their money around based off of current events in the market, such as tariffs, trade wars, things like that. So people are shifting their money around. The market's making corrections right now, and we're starting to see the results, right? Companies like, Apple, Amazon, American Airlines and stuff like that. They're sinking. Actually, American Airlines isn't that bad. That one's only 0.4%. So not too bad, but we're starting to see these companies that have shipped manufacturing overseas for such a long time that it's basically where they're more or less kind of based now. We're seeing those companies starting to lose. Ultimately, the best choice for them is going to be to bring manufacturing back to America. Make America great again. You fucking love to see it. But all right, man. Well, I'm gonna roll on out of here. We appreciate you stopping by. Appreciate you chatting us up in the chat over there. If you guys have any questions, concerns, comments, if you feel like there's stuff that I missed, things I might have overlooked, it's very possible. I'm not like I said, I ain't no fucking genius analyst or nothing like that. I'm just some fucking guy that hangs out on YouTube, fucking hanging out in my kitchen. So yeah, we appreciate you guys. Don't forget to leave a comment to let us know what you think. If you like this video, share it with your friends. If you like the show, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you tell friends to subscribe and meet us back here next Friday at 10 p.m. Arizona time, as we'll be discussing the latest happenings in the news that week. All right. We appreciate you guys stopping by. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and as always, fuck off. America.